Good evening. It is Friday, October 30th, 2020. It's interesting to me to hear people talk about which Bible personalities they admire. King David comes up often. We want to be like David when he defeats Goliath, or when he conquers Jerusalem, or unites the kingdom. There are other times in David's life, we may not want to emulate him too closely. David had many times where he records his relationship with God in ways that may make us just a little bit uncomfortable. In Psalm 40, verses 1 through 9, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition, David says, "I waited patiently for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the pit of despair, out of the mud and the mire. He set my feet on solid ground and steadied me as I walked along. He's given me a new song to sing, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see what he has done and be amazed. They will put their trust in the Lord. Oh, the joys of those who trust the Lord, who have no confidence in the proud or in those who worship idols. O Lord my God, you have performed many wonders for us. Your plans for us are too numerous to list. You have no equal. If I tried to recite all your wonderful deeds, I would never come to the end of them. You take no delight in sacrifices or offerings. Now that you've made me listen, I finally understand. You don't require burnt offerings or sin offerings." Then I said, "Look, I have come. As is written about me in the scriptures, I take joy in doing your will, my God, for your instructions are written on my heart. I've told all your people about your justice. I've not been afraid to speak out, as you, O Lord, well know." David had a rock-solid conviction that God heard his prayers. Even the Apostle Paul said, "Lord, I believe, help thou my unbelief." David was certain that God always heard him. Then David had experienced many times God renewing his soul and spirit, taking him out of ugly, sticky situations, and giving him solid ground to stand on, and steadying him as he walked, and then putting a new song in his heart to sing. David's faith in God's renewing actions was both visible and attractive to others. David is also convinced of God's plan for him. God had a direction and a purpose for David's life. Now, occasionally, David did his best to derail God's purpose, but God always led him back to the right path when David was ready to follow him again. David was convinced that God's plan for his life provided the most joy and was in David's best interests. We somehow seem to be conditional in our obedience. We try and tell God we'll follow him if we can see and enjoy the immediate benefits, if it gives us the comfort and ease we're looking for. But David was willing to trust God through the tough times and found that to be the most joyful way to live his life. David also recognized that empty religious rituals do not please God. David's faith and obedience please God. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard parents being upset because their grown children don't attend church. And I've occasionally asked them, "Well, what does the church have to offer your grown child?" And they look at me with a strange look on their face, hopefully to be thinking about, what is the purpose of what we're doing for God? And how does it help us show our love and obedience for God? David found true delight in honoring God and serving God. Too many times we only look at the habitual drudgery of religious rituals instead of the joy in being a pleasure to God by our public obedience and openness to speak out about the good things of God. Jesus said there were two great commandments: to love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, strength, and mind, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. We may have seen some massive changes in our society and personal lives in the last several months, but we continue to have the opportunity to love God. How do we let others know that we love God? David sang songs of his love for the Lord, describing God's wonderful actions. May we speak out with the honesty and integrity of David when we talk about our love for the Lord. And may our faith be as attractive to others as David's was. God bless you.